Okay, so we're going to start with our sentence level anomalies, meaning structural changes that happen within sentences. And we're specifically going to be starting with action sentences. So remind me of the standard rules of an action sentence.
Standard rules, action is the first word. Doer gets the doer label, receiver gets the receiver label, and the doer and the receiver are interchangeable in terms of their placement.
Right, they're interchangeable in terms of their order. So our first anomaly is actually what we're going to call doer before action. What rule is that breaking?
That the action is the first word?
Right, that the action is the first word. And it's kind of a self-explanatory rule. Sometimes the doer can come before the action. Okay, so let's look at some examples of that. Okay. وَاللَّهُ خَلَقَ كُلَّ دَابَّةٍ مِّن مَاءٍ. So we have, see, where's our action here?
خَلَقَ.
خَلَقَ. And then, right, our standard rule was that this was supposed to be the first thing. Right, but what do we have before it?
Allahu.
And what do you notice about the label there?
It has the doer label.
Has the doer label, right? So what's happening here? We actually have our
doer coming before the action?
Yeah, doer coming before the action. And then the rest of the sentence is normal. We have our receiver, and then we have a TLDR. Okay, so here we have our doer before our action. Let's look at how we're translating this. Normally we'd say, Allah created every creature from water, right? We start with our doer, then our action, then our receiver.
Yeah.
But you notice this bracketed part here?
Is the one who?
Yeah. So actually the reason we're putting that in the translation is because when you move the doer before the action, you're actually doing it to give emphasis to the doer or to highlight the doer.
Okay.
Right? So we're, rather than saying Allah created, we're saying Allah is the one who created, right? It's like you're emphasizing it, or you're giving it special attention.
Okay. Oh, that's why it's bolded in the translation as well?
Sure.
Bold means emphasis?
Sure. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So the rule is pretty straightforward, right?
Okay.
It's a normal action sentence like we've seen before. Only difference is that the doer is coming first.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So why did we ever learn that the action is the first word in the sentence to start with if sometimes the doer comes before the action?
Because that's the standard rule, right? That's the standard rule. And here we saw that when you move it, the implication changes, right?
Okay.
You get that extra emphasis, right? So it's not just like, oh, it's free for all. You can, it can come in any order. It makes no difference, right? There's a standard order, doer, or action, and then doer.
Okay.
Right? But when you change the standard, usually you don't change the standard for nothing, right? You change the standard for a reason.
Okay.
And
so there's a purpose behind it.
Exactly, right? There's a purpose behind it changing. And here it's to give the doer extra emphasis or to highlight the doer.
Okay.
Does it make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, look at another example. وَالْمَلَائِكَةُ يَشْهَدُونَ. What's our action here?
يَشْهَدُونَ.
Yashhadun is our action.
Present.
And then
Tense because you have una ending and ya at the beginning.
Good. Thanks for the extra info. That's good. Right. That's our action. And then before it we see al-malaikatu, which you can tell me is our
doer because it has doer label.
Right. It has the doer label, and every action sentence has to have an action and a doer at least. Right. So here we know that al-malaika is our action, and then you see that this anomaly is being applied because the doer is coming before the action. Okay. Right? And then how does this apply in our translation?
The angels are the ones who testify.
Right. So we're highlighting the angels by bringing them forward. So we say the angels are the ones who testify.
Okay.
Is that clear? Mm-hmm. Okay. So what if I wanted to use the same structure but give it some extra emphasis by saying certainly or no doubt? Do you remember the word for certainly, for no doubt?
Inna?
It's inna, right? It's inna.
Sentence starter.
Yeah. So if I wanted to say certainly Allah is the one who created every creature from water, what would I add before the word Allah?
Certainly?
Yeah, the word for certainly, which is inna, right? So I'd say inna Allah, right? If I wanted to say certainly the angels testify, I'd say
Inna al-malaikata.
Yeah, inna al-malaika. Right? So that can happen as well.
Okay.
Right? That can happen as well. So here we see an example. Inna Allaha ya'muru bil adli wal ihsan. That's a khutbah. You probably heard that in the khutbah a bunch of times. Yeah, sounds really
familiar.
Right, so here we have our action is ya'muru. Right? And our doer is the word Allah. But we've added inna as an emphasizer.
Okay.
So we'll say that our doer here is inna Allaha.
So is it safe to say that anytime we have a sentence as an action sentence that's starting with a sentence starter, that sentence starter is going to be our doer?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And actually, our two types of doers before action are, one, a word with a doer label, right? A word with a doer label before the action. And then the second type is actually a sentence starter fragment before the action. Okay. So anytime you see a sentence starter fragment before an action, it's the doer.
Okay.
Right? Or if you see a word with a doer label before the action, it's also the doer.
Okay.
Right? Because remember, our rules still apply. Right? If it's an action sentence, it has to have a doer. Mm-hmm. Only difference we're seeing now is that sometimes the doer comes before, right? Mm-hmm. Instead of after.
Okay.
Okay. One more example here. إنكم ظلمتم أنفسكم. Right? So here we have our action, which is
ظلمتم.
Right? ظلمتم is our action. And then what's أنفسكم?
It's receiver because it has it's possessive because general followed by specific. And then it's receiver because of the on anfusa.
So we have our action, we have our receiver. What does that make? Innakum.
Doer.
Yeah, it's the doer. And then remember our rule. Anytime you have a sentence starter fragment before an action, it is the
doer.
Doer, right?
Okay.
So here we're translating it. Certainly you all are the ones, right, who wronged yourselves.
Okay.
The concept clear?
Yeah, it's pretty easy. I was expecting it to be a little bit more complicated. But, I mean, now that we know how to recognize actions, I guess it's not that bad. It's like, okay, if the word is coming before it, then it's the doer.
Yeah, exactly. If you have a word coming before an action, it's going to be the doer.
And then also for an English speaker, it's a little bit more intuitive that way because before we were, the doer was coming after the action, but we had to translate doer action.
Yeah.
But now the doer is coming before the action, and that's just how we normally translate
Exactly. You can just translate it straight.
Yeah.
Yep.
So.
Yep. So doer before action, right? Not all that dramatic.
No.
Okay. You ready to do some practice yourself?
I think so.
Okay, let's work through some sentences. Allahu anzala min as-sama'i ma'an.
Okay, this is an action sentence.
Okay, where's my
because anzala is a past tense action. It has the at the end.
Good.
And then min is related to as-sama'i because it's TLDR followed by its noun. As-sama'i is not related to ma'an because it's specific followed by general.
Good.
So a break. Mm-hmm. And then min as-sama'i is a TLDR. Mm-hmm. And then ma'an is receiver because it has receiver label.
Good. And
then Allahu, I guess going back to the beginning, that's going to be our doer before action.
Exactly.
And because it's a noun with the doer label within an action sentence.
Good. So help me translate this.
Allah sent down water from the sky.
What about that implication? Remember, why do we move a doer before an action?
Oh, to emphasize it. So I guess Allah is the one who, or Allah underline bold.
Yeah. Right? So is the one who is not actually in there in words, right? Yeah. We're kind of just adding it in to try to capture that implication. Okay. Right? So however you want to capture it, right?
So is bold, underline,
sure.
star?
You can underline, star, whatever. Right? Or is the one who, Allah is the one who, or Allah underline, is the one who sent water from the sky. Okay, let's look at another one. Inna Allaha wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala nabi. I'll help you with any vocab you don't know, but work me through it first.
Well, it's an action sentence because of yusalluna.
Good.
Because we have the una at the end and the ya at the beginning, so that tells us it's present tense.
Good.
They. And then ala nabi is TLDR. And then I guess going back to the beginning, Inna Allaha is sentence starter and its noun. And then the wa is a connector.
Good.
And then malaikatahu is general followed by specific, so it's possessive.
Good.
But they're all connected because of the wow.
So this whole thing is one unit, and what are we going to label this unit as?
Doer before action?
Yeah, remember we said anytime you see a sentence starter fragment before an action, it is a...
It's a doer.
Doer, right? Okay, so here we have our doer. So we have doer, action, and then TLDR. Okay, let's translate. What are the words that you don't know here?
Yusalluna.
Yusalluna means to send blessings.
Okay. So, I guess we can just go word for it. It's certainly Allah. And his angels.
Good. Where are you getting that from?
Because of the possessive malaikatahu, general followed by specific.
Good.
And then send blessings. Do you send blessings upon? No, you send blessings to?
Yeah.
The prophet?
Yeah. Send prayers or send blessings, and then add Nabi to the prophet. Very good. And then, what about our implication here?
Oh, yeah, the emphasis. Well, would this certainly be enough, or should we say certainly Allah and his angels?
No, because the certainly is emphasis on top of it, right? Okay. So you have two levels. You have the certainly, and you have the doer coming before the action. Okay. Right, so certainly Allah and his angels
are the ones who?
Sure. Are the ones who. Very good. One more?
Okay.
Okay. Huwa khalaqakum. Short one.
Oh, okay. Khalaqa is our action.
Good.
Past tense has the indicator, the default. Kum, pronoun attached to action, is receiver.
Very good. And so we have our doer, we have our action and our receiver.
And then I guess huwa would be doer before the action.
Huwa is your doer before your action.
Okay.
Translation?
He is the one who created you all.
Good. He is the one who, and we can bracket that one. The one who, and then created you all. Very good. Right, so previously, remember when we were figuring out if something is an action sentence or an is sentence, we'd just look at the first word.
Yeah.
Right? And if the first word was an action, we'd say, oh, it's an action sentence. Right, but now that we know that the doer can come before the action, you're going to have to look past the first word.
Okay.
Don't rush to conclusions if you don't see an action at the very beginning, because now we know that the action can sometimes come a little later.
Okay.
Okay, so are we all clear? Doer can come before action. And what are the two kinds of the doer that come before action?
Just a normal noun with a doer label. Or a sentence starter fragment.
Very good. And what was the implication? Why do we move the doer before the action?
To emphasize the doer.
To emphasize the doer, to highlight it. Very good.